question called find next sibling. So this question asks us and provides us a target tree that we want to look through and a target element that we'd like to find. And once we find that target element, the function should return the next sibling element based off of that target element. So for instance, if we find a p tag as our target element, then we need to return the next sibling element, which would be the next p tag. Similarly, if there is an a tag here, the sibling of it would be the button. But a consideration here is the sibling technically here is a child of this p, and this p technically only contains one child node. However, the child node's parent node has a sibling which has a child. So because of that, technically speaking, the a tag has a next sibling of button due to the parent relationship. So let's build this out in JavaScript. So I've already mocked out some of the DOM structure here. So it's pretty straightforward. We have a container. Within the container, we have a wrapper. Within the wrapper, we have a parent div. Within that parent div, we have 4 sub divs. This should be called sub 4. The first 2 are the ones we're going to focus on initially. So the first sub div has a p tag, which has a nested a tag inside of it. And the second sub div has another p tag with a nested button inside of it. So the goal is we're going to make this our target element, and then we're going to find the next available sibling, which is going to be this guy. So let's build this out in JavaScript. So I've already gone ahead and created the const variables for target and tree. Our target is the a tag, and our tree is the container. And I've already gone ahead and created this function called find next right sibling, which takes a root and a target. So let's build this out. So the way we're going to be building this out is we're going to be using the breadth first search algorithm. So how that works is that we're going to be using a queue system. So let's define a queue. So we'll say const queue equals to the tree itself. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use a while loop to go through the tree's children one at a time, as long as the queue has a length. So we'll say while queue.length exists. So while queue has a length, we're going to iterate through it. And here what we're going to say is const current equals to queue.shift. So we remove one element from the tree itself. And what we're going to do next is we're going to say if current dot children exists, then what we'll do is we'll push the children into the queue itself. So we'll say queue.push current. Actually, we'll use a spread operator to spread out the current children, which is an array, and we'll push it back into the queue. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to actually have our base case here. So we want to say if current ever equals to the target element that we were looking for, then we can return queue.shift. So what we're doing here is because current now equals to the target element that we were looking for. So in this case, we were looking for A, and we found it. Because we're using the shift property, we can find the next available right sibling, which would be this guy, and it'll find the button element directly right there. So this should just work. So if I press run, it returns as an element. It might make it easier if I provide some text content in here. We can say hello world. So I'll just print out the text content. And we found our next available right sibling. The other consideration here is there could be instances of the next sibling being undefined. So we can kind of clean this up slightly. So we'll say, instead of return queue.shift, we'll say const next sibling equals to queue.shift. And we'll say if next sibling is undefined, then we return null. Otherwise, we can just return next sibling. I press return wrong, spelled return wrong. If I run this, everything should still work identically. And this is how you find the Next, write sibling based off of a target element in a tree. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.